This is Banging on the Drum. It is another beautiful day in West Central Wisconsin, and welcome to episode 144 of Banging on the Drum. Please remember to go out, like, subscribe, download. We would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I am your host, P-Dog, joined alongside our other host, M-Dog. And M-Dog, how are you doing today?
Doing just dandy. Can't complain, I don't think. How about you?
I'm doing good. So I'll get into what we're going to be going over in today's show. So we got a pretty loaded, action-packed one. We didn't take too many notes on the Super Bowl, but we're going to start it out a little old school. We got a new segment called Mike's Just the Tip of the Week. Then we're going to go into overs and unders real quick. Going to do a little Super Bowl recap with absolutely no notes, so just off memory. I'm feeling like Mike was a little drunk last night. We got the... Oh, he wasn't.
Nope.
We got the NFL Hall of Fame list for this year. We're going to give a shout out to our boy Toby Keith. I'm going to do my observation of the week. That might be a new segment. Then we're going to go the Badgers, the Bucks, and I think that will wrap it up unless we can think of another segment. Mike, you got anything we're going to add to the end of this one?
Yeah, so I'm going to put my Lent challenges in. I got to get that into the world so that I actually do some shit.
All right. Maybe I'll make some on the fly, but let's get into it, Mike. What's just the tip of the week this week?
Sometimes life is like a dick. It gets hard for no reason, but it doesn't stay that way.
I think I kind of like it. I broke it down in my head when you sent it to me in text form. So life is like a dick. Sometimes it's hard for no reason, but it won't stay that way. So, yeah, I don't know what my critique was on it again. I remember I had a critique.
So
I feel like sometimes life does stay hard, though.
I think that your critique was that it's usually hard and not usually soft, where a dick is usually soft and not usually hard.
Yeah, I think that's where I was going with it. And I feel like there's an easy way to make a dick soft.
Okay. Yeah. There's no clear-cut answers on how to make life not hard, right, I guess.
But I like it. If you don't overthink it, life is like a dick. Sometimes it's hard for no reason, but it won't stay that way. So it's like when you get a boner in church or something. It goes away after a little while.
Yeah, when do you think the last time you had a boner in church was? Well, it's been a long time since I've been to church. When was the last time you think you got a boner, like just like randomly sitting like at work or like something like that? Like as an adult, so if you're like 17, I think it's different, but...
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen to me very much anymore. If it does, yeah, I need some thought-provoking things to do it for me. So I couldn't even tell you. But like from the age of 12 or whenever that started happening to 18 or probably later than that.
Probably earlier than 12 too. I mean,
yeah,
probably got boners earlier than 12. Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, but yeah, all the time back then. So I'm sure I had one in church, but I didn't go to church that much. So I don't know. I've just heard that saying before, like getting a boner in church.
Yeah, it would probably feel relatively awkward, I don't remember ever having a boner in church, and we went to church every Sunday. However, that doesn't mean maybe I had a boner every week in church, so it just wasn't, like, memorable.
You were looking 3 pews down at your buddy's mom.
Yeah, I mean, must have been.
All right, let's get into overs and unders. You start them off. We're bringing the overs and unders back. This is for you, Craig. From Craig's request, we're doing overs and unders.
Yeah, and I get that. I think that it's kind of smart, especially now that football season's done. So for me, under. Yeah, we end on the positive. So under, I'm working 2 weekends in a row, and I just hate working fucking weekends. Like I'm willing to do a lot to not work weekends, I think, at the job I got. So I fucking hate it. Drives me crazy. Now, I'm going to get a little bit of a positive out of working the weekend. I get tomorrow off, no kids, just me and the wife, just chilling at the house. We'll probably end up fucking cleaning all day or something stupid, but like it will be.
I thought you went somewhere.
So that we're going to be just like fucking all day. That'd be nice. I don't think that's the way it goes.
You said we'll probably just be fucking. And
I didn't even catch that I said fucking in there, but yeah, that'd be good. Maybe we'll be like fuck cleaning or something. Who knows? I've never done that, but like it might be interesting. Try to convince.
Yeah, we're getting back to rated R stuff here too.
Yeah, try to get her convinced into something like that. And then, so for my over, my son had his first wrestling match on Friday night. Ooh. Just me and him, just like chilling. Downfall of that, I was trying to like record his wrestling match and coach him at the same time. That doesn't work for me very well.
That's tough.
The camera just kept like panning just to the mat pretty frequently, and I was yelling at him and like just telling him what to do, but like. I couldn't like do both things. But
do you think it helps him yelling and telling him what to do?
So he he was on in his first match. He was on top, which I wasn't videoing, and he like was holding the kid down, and all he's got to do is put a half in. I told him to put the half in, and he puts the half in like instantly. And then
Okay.
I told
That's
him,
about the only wrestling command I would know.
yeah,
Nelson.
that's all you really need to know. To be fair, like if you're like if you got that down, like you'll beat a lot of people, especially in the first grade. And then I told him to run it, and he just like walked it over, and he put the kid on his back. So I don't know if like random yelling helps. Reminding them to get to their belly, I think, is important. There's certain things that, like, oh, you need to do this here, like hit certain moves, but I'm not sure. But we had a good night. It was just me and him, and me and him don't get to do very much, right? He's the middle kid, so one of them wants to tag along all the time, anytime we're doing something, or I'm doing something with Kennedy, and he wants to be the one that takes along. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just me and him don't do a whole lot together. Where me and the little one will go everywhere with me. If I'm going into a store, he loves going to fucking stores. Just loves it. And so like he'll be like, "Are we going in?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I have to go in." And he'll be like, "I'm coming."
No, that's funny. That's cute. But so wrestling, getting back into this. So I just remember from when I was a kid, my dad would always be yelling at stuff. But granted, I was like the biggest bitch of a little kid ever. Like I would be the kid that was like always getting a bloody nose, always crying and shit. And my dad would always be like yelling shit to me, and I'd always be so pissed at him, like after every match. But it was like not so much pissed at him. Like I was just pissed that I was always getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
So
I've been there.
I didn't know how like the yelling actually helped me, but yeah, it probably does. Like if they're doing something that you wouldn't think of doing, but
Yeah,
But-
and so
but
like
yeah.
I'm not trying to like yell at him like to do some complex shit that he's never been taught. Basically, he wasn't shooting for a while, and so I just yelled at him to shoot. Like, go ahead and shoot. Like, we're not going to get anywhere. This is first grade wrestling. If neither of you two kids shoot, we're just going to be dancing out there. So just shoot. Like, if something bad happens, right? And so, but we got to hang out for about 4 or 5 hours. So
that's pretty fun. How did he end up finishing? Was
So he
on the
finished
podium?
third. He won his first match 16-6, and then the next two guys you could tell had wrestled probably for at least a year, and this was his first match. So
Okay. So yeah, no, that ain't bad. He won as many matches as I won in 2 years in his first.
yeah, I went from 5th grade to 8th grade, and I didn't win one match. Not
Damn,
one.
dude,
And I don't
you
know-
sucked.
Yeah, I know.
How
And
did,
I was
how did you even
terrible.
stick with that?
I have no idea. I really don't know why I continued to wrestle. Because I was like, as far as basketball players go, I could have been fine, right? Like just hung out on the end of the bench, right? Done
Yeah,
the sports
shot
stuff.
some-
yeah, I
shot
could have
some
been
threes.
just done nothing, right? And I probably would have got okay by the time I was a senior. But like I just stuck with wrestling, and I have really no good reason why.
But you actually got pretty good at wrestling too. So
Yeah, I was okay at the end, right? So I wasn't dominant or nothing, but I was okay. I won more
That's-
than I lost.
So my nephew, he's probably the same. You might be wrestling your son here soon, but he shows up to things, and man, he's awesome. Because like when I was a little kid, like I sucked ass and I cried and like was a bitch. Like he's not very good yet. I hope he doesn't hear this, but his spirit's always high, so he loves it, and he wins a match here and there and stuff. So he does win a little bit more than I did.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get like any taste of wins, but yeah, he sticks with it. And I kind of told his mom. I told her about you because I remember I didn't know you didn't win a match for 3 years,
But you knew that I was
did,
bad
like,
at some point.
yeah, like real bad, and then you turned it on and you actually became pretty good. But I think that's anything, especially at that level. Like if you actually try and stick with
Yeah.
something, you'll
Yep.
probably become above average,
Right.
at the very least.
Well, and I think the important thing for like wrestling and maybe sports in general for little kids is that you can be as aggressive as you really want to be as long as you follow all the rules of the sport. Like you can be a wild and crazy human, which little boys want to do. They want to be like absolutely crazy sometimes, and that's you just got to channel it into that moment in time, which is tough to do.
Yeah, no, I don't think I was very, very wild and crazy. Like I didn't really have that shit in me, like channeled like anger or anything
Yep.
that I recall. Like I guess I threw fits and shit, but like yeah, it wasn't like I remember I got babysat by this one kid that was like a psychopath, or I got babysat by his mom. He was the same age as me, and I would be like scared every day going over there.
Yeah.
And this kid was really good at wrestling. He actually made it to like state. He turned out to be a pretty good dude. But I just remember being scared shitless. I was like, I was not born with that type of aggression in me.
Yeah,
Like I never
I
had
get
it.
that. Right, for sure. And like I think a big piece of my like losing was that like I felt like I could hurt people. And I probably couldn't have, right? Like, doesn't matter how hard, first grade, doesn't matter really how hard you go. If you follow the rules, you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, no, you look at those little shits out there, it's like more cute than anything, like watching them like
Yeah.
try to like do shit. But
Yep.
yeah, like there's no way like with yeah, like the velocity that they can like create. Like I don't know, you barely would even say like, ooh. I'm sure like every once in a while someone gets put on their back and you're like, like, but not
Yeah,
really.
like I think the biggest things that I remember seeing from when I was a kid, because obviously I don't go to youth tournaments anymore, is like a kid would like plant his arm, and he'd snap his arm or something like that, or his arm would bend the wrong way, and like then there'd be medical people out there fixing up his
guess.
arm or like a leg or something. So there's injuries can happen, but and usually that was probably like fourth or fifth graders where things are starting just a little bit more serious, right?
I was gonna say yeah, I don't see that in first grade. I mean, I'm sure it happens once in a blue moon, but yeah, like in fifth grade, I feel like some people got the strength to like hip toss or like head throw good or something like that. But
right. All right, moving on. How was your week?
Did you did your under? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to work. Keep it easy.
Okay. Yeah, my week and through the football season. So I'm gonna go all around. Actually, it's very recency bias, but so under number one happened today. So I go to this gym that I've been going to for a long time now. Like there's like 3-4 trainers that work there, and they like know me. I'm not too much of the guy that like goes into the gym and like chops it up with these guys. Like every once in a while, like it's Friday, it's dead. Like one of the trainers will like come talk to me when I'm like out there warming up.
Tried to recruit
But anyways,
you. Do you tell them I know more shit than you, fucking piece of shit?
no, I don't even talk about that shit ever. Like that I had my personal training or anything like that. But get there, I got about a 30-minute drive to work. So I'm trying to put down a bottle, if you're watching on YouTube, about this big, full of water before I get to the gym. And I'm a pretty good water drinker, so like whatever. So usually when I get there, I have to piss. And then the door's shut. There's only one bathroom in this place. This is kind of like a weird gym, but
Yeah.
pretty nice. But then the door opens, the guy comes out. I go in to piss, and it's like, it needs plumbing done to it. It needs like to be doing this shit. And like I look this guy like right in the eyes, whatever. He walks right past me. There was a little bit of fear in his eyes, like you ain't wrong. And he was young too.
Yeah. See, I felt like I was way more comfortable shitting in public when I was young than I am as like an older adult.
Yeah, I'm hit or miss. I'm definitely hit or miss with that.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually no, I know for a fact that I'm more comfortable now than I was when I was younger. But anyways, he goes out and he goes right into like he's getting like in process. So they have like this in processing thing at the gym. So he goes like right to that. Doesn't say shit about like flooding it. And then like I walk in there, have to piss, and then I have to walk right back out and go tell someone that works there that the bathroom is clogged. And he definitely thought I did it. Like to the point like where I almost wanted to be like, I know who did this. I seen it in his eyes that he did this, but I didn't. So anyways, my under was one of the trainers at the gym thinks I'd take like nasty shits and have someone else fix it for me. Because it was very fixable too. Like
he didn't just give you a fucking plunger?
Yeah, I mean, I should have. I didn't realize. So I just seen like the water was to the top of the bowl in there, and then there was like toilet paper floating. I didn't even see shit, honestly.
Yeah, that was all stuck in the fucking hole, man.
But dude used an ass load of toilet paper. Like, I don't know. I almost walked up to the guy afterwards and be like, "There's better ways to wipe your ass and shit in public." Like, he used so much freaking toilet paper where I was like, "How did you not expect that to get clogged?" But then one of the trainers just went in there and like unplunged it or like plunged it real quick and it worked.
It's
And
just trainers that work there?
yeah, that's it. I don't think so. It's like a high performance center. Like to work out there, you have to go through this like in thing, and that's what the guy was doing. But anyways, I got that situation settled. The dude that did it, the dude that clogged the toilet, like looked at me, and he looked at me like, "Thanks for doing me a solid." And then I kind of like let it go. So I was like, "All right, I respect it. This is a young kid. I'm not gonna like leave him hanging."
You should just like give him a nickname and call it to him every time you see him in the fucking place now.
I mean, he's definitely got a nickname in my head. I'm sure I have a nickname at this gym. So when I was doing the in-processing thing, I can't remember if we ever got to this on the show, but this was one of my biggest unders that I had in this stretch of the football season since we've been starting to do this. So I had to do this intake thing. And there's one where you like grab, it's a core workout. So you grab a pulley and you pull it out in front of you and you hold it and you squeeze your abs. And it's like a decent ab workout. But so when I was like in processing to do that, I did that and I was farted so loud. And it was just like me and one other trainer. And like it was like the most awkward thing ever.
Did you make your joke? Did you make your joke?
That's gonna be That's gonna itch when it dries.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I was like too embarrassed.
See, you got to own that shit.
I wish I could have owned it in the moment, but yeah, I was. It was embarrassing. I don't even know. It's probably like farting at the chiropractor or some shit like that, or like while you're getting a massage. Tough to do.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I suppose.
brutal. So I'm pretty sure I got a nickname with trainers when I'm not around. I'm like the guy that farts.
Yeah, you should ask him what it is.
My nickname?
Yeah, you've been there a few months now. Just be like, hey, so I know I farted in front of you. What did the nickname become for me?
Tell you the truth, I still don't see that guy a lot anymore. I don't know if he quit or left.
Yeah,
or
he's like, this dude farted right in my fucking face. I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this bullshit. So
yeah, no. I think I might have made that guy quit.
For sure did.
But anyways, let's get to these overs. So I'm gonna be running a half marathon. Actually been training for it, doing like a good job, which feels good. Like, so I think I'm gonna crush this. I think I'm gonna be able to run a half marathon in under like 9-minute miles. I don't know what that 9 times 13.
That's good.
Yeah, turns out to. So I think I'll do pretty good. But then the under on it though is I've been running like probably the most I've ran in my whole entire life. So I went to step on the scale today and I was like, I've been running like crazy. But also I've been doing like, I ran 8 miles on Sunday, a little over 8 miles on Sunday. So I was like, I can eat whatever the fuck I want. And I've gained weight since I've been doing this marathon training. So just because I think I can eat whatever I want.
I was eating no sweets. I was in like a no sweets mode. But I was eating fruit at the time, and coconut, which was a cheating thing. Shredded coconut, which was cheating. I understand it. Didn't realize that had sugar added to it, but that's not the point. I was eating all like fruits, vegetables, meat, cheese, nuts, right? And I gained weight when I was trying to like do my Tough Mudder too.
That's crazy.
I was running 2 miles every day and 1 extra mile every Sunday. So started with 2, went to 3 the following Sunday, went to 4 the following Sunday. Still gained weight. 2 miles every day. I shouldn't say I gained weight, but I did not lose a pound. Like I was probably up. I would guarantee I did not lose a pound.
Yeah, I will say so. Since I've got here, so when I first got here, I was weighing 206, but I just got back from like going up to Wisconsin for a buddy's wedding and shit like that. So I don't know how much like water weight, but yeah, we drank quite a bit and shit like that. So then I got down to like 196, dropped it. But when I stepped on the scale today, I was 198. But I guess that's with like shorts and a t-shirt on. But,
so
whatever.
Like how much does your weight fluctuate in a day?
Whew, I really couldn't tell you. I gotta start stepping on the scale every day again. I was doing it for a while and I was like dropping weight pretty good. Yeah. And like I said, I got down to like 196, but the trouble I have with it is like if I hit like 192, then I'm like, oh, I'm good to go. Like I'm doing good. Like, and then I eat. And
my number is like 185. If I hit 185, I feel like fucking like a god. I got it down. I'm perfect. And then I'm not quite there though. I probably need to hit probably 10 more pounds to like really be like completely. I'm pretty lean at 185, but like to start seeing 6-pack material, like would probably be 10 pounds lower than that.
Yeah, I think I punted on the 6-pack dream. Whatever, but yeah, if I'm 185, I feel good. I feel like I look good.
Yeah,
I'm cool with it. But so today we're recording on February 12th, so I got basically a month till the run. The run's on March 9th, I'm pretty sure. So I want to be at 190 when I'm doing this run, which is gonna be tough because we're going out of town next weekend to go to see a friend in North Carolina, and I'm sure we're gonna eat like shit and drink and do whatever. So basically, I'm gonna have to lose 8 pounds in 3 weeks after I get back from that. Which, whatever. I think that's semi doable. But yeah, that's all I got. Over training for a marathon, doing pretty good. Feel pretty good about it. I think I'm gonna crush it. Under, dudes, fucking plugging the toilets in front of me and then making it look like I did it. Yeah, damn, dude. We're back to our roots in this episode. You're complaining about working the weekend.
That's like pretty typical. And then like, well, I'm so proud of my kids. Like, is my over too.
Yeah, and I'm complaining about toilet stuff. I'm always complaining about toilet stuff. And we're swearing a lot more.
Yeah, I was rough. I'm gonna clean it up the rest of the episode. Don't worry, everybody. You can let your kids watch the rest of the shit.
All right, we're good.
As I drop.
We are good. So we're gonna do our pop culture 10 to 15 minutes. We got to think of a better name for that segment, but. There happened to be a very big football game last night, Mike. Did you end up catching it?
So I was playing cards through most of this game, but I was watching. Like the game was on. I was sitting at the Roman Reigns seat, head of the table, right? And so I was right in front of the TV as the card game was going. But our card game was very sketchy because of the game.
Sketchy. What were you playing?
Poker. So we play poker.
Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
Or just
so dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. Okay.
So we'll play blackjack. We'll play Texas Hold'em. Mean in between. pineapple, Omaha, like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, keeping your tools sharp. But
Yeah.
did you have any big takeaways from the game? What do you got?
Uh,
You usually have like a hot take.
Yeah, so I thought both teams actually played pretty terribly. Really surprised that the people who were making the mistakes for the Niners was not Brock Purdy. I thought if somebody failed for the Niners, it was going to be Brock Purdy. Not that I think that he's terrible, right? I just think he's the low point on the offense, right? So, like, they got a good offensive line. They got a good tight end. They got good wide receivers. They got a good running back. I assumed Brock Purdy would be your failure point, right? That was not the case. McCaffrey fumbling that ball is bad. 2 muff punts in a Super Bowl seems absolutely crazy.
Dude, the one muff punt gave glimmers back to the 97-98 Super Bowl. I feel like it was like Chimura was like it almost hit Chimura or something, and I don't know if it was Desmond Howard. I can't remember who we had return punts.
I don't think the second year we had Desmond.
It could have been. So, it wasn't Allen Rossum, was it?
I don't know. Like the second one, like I put out of my mind so much. I don't like the only thing I remember from the second Super Bowl there early was the helicopter play with Elway.
Yeah, I think it was Travis Jervey. We'll just go with it was Travis Jervey returning punts,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure he was returning kicks mostly. But anyways, that gave like glimmers to it, like because I was like, what the hell is this guy doing, like going after that ball, and then they showed the replay
Yep.
and it hit his dude, and I was like, oh, okay, well that was definitely not. I mean, it was probably his fault in the way of like he probably should have been yelling fire or whatever you yell to get everybody away from the ball, but yeah, he was doing a good job trying to get back on it. But yeah, that's. But you're saying Brock Purdy?
Yeah, I
Thought
thought
Brock
that he'd
Purdy
be the
was
failure point. I thought Mahomes played pretty like meh most of the game. Didn't think that he was
Yeah.
playing a very good game. His pocket awareness, which I think is generally super high, didn't seem to be that this go around.
Yeah, he was getting smacked around a little bit.
Yeah. Now, granted, the Niners defense is really good, but so everything they did in those games, that's what the Packers cleaned up in order to like be a playoff team and then win a playoff game. They cleaned up all that stuff in order to do that. The only thing that the Packers really didn't clean up well was their kicking game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the Niners had a big missed kick to make that last drive for them to only need a field goal.
And did they get it blocked or did Kansas City get it blocked?
Shit, there was a blocked one. I don't think it was Butker, because Butker kicked the like 57-yarder.
Moody
That
hit
was like
a 53 and a 55 or something like that. It was nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, never mind. I think it was Kansas City who got the field goal blocked. But yeah, I mean, that wasn't even what I was going to get into the game. But yeah.
We love talking about
yeah.
kickers on Old Banging on the Drum.
Oh, we are always talking about kickers. I was going to make a joke about Gronk missing the 25-yarder or whatever he needed to. And I was like, even Anders Carlson hits a couple of those a year. So
Yep.
so he should be good. But yeah, no, the special teams was huge in that game. And the punt teams, honestly. So that's what everyone's saying is like this game was like pretty bad. But honestly, it was like the defense doing like super well. And I know that's like like the nerd take on it. But it did seem
right.
like the defenses were like confusing the quarterbacks, playing pretty good. Honestly, felt like San Francisco dominated that game for maybe 2.5 quarters, almost 3 quarters. Third quarter is like where the game slipped away from them. But then ultimately it came down to like what we've been saying. Basically what the 49ers did to the Packers, what the 49ers did to the Lions, the Chiefs did to the 49ers.
Yeah.
It was like they basically got outplayed, but then when the 49ers made a mistake, they muffed that punt, touchdown, next play out of the Chiefs. And then Mahomes at the end of the game was just not going to be denied winning that game. And then the big overtime thing, I was very confused. I
did not know that rule.
Yeah, no. I did not know that's how the playoff overtime
Neither did the Niners,
worked
though,
at
so
all.
it's okay.
Yeah, because that has to be the stupidest decision.
Nope,
in Super.
I don't agree. So like, if you take the
I think
ball and you score a touchdown, the Niners are screwed, or the Chiefs are screwed. Right?
No, they're not.
You have
They
to-
can go
you-
down.
You have to do everything correctly, right? So all that pressure comes on. They didn't have any pressure because once they hit the 35-yard line, Andy Reid tried to run out of time in that game.
No, that would have just been a quarter.
No,
You
it's
didn't hear
not just
that?
a quarter. If you're losing at the end of that regulation, you lose.
No, you don't. It was a quarter. That's what I'm saying, Mike.
How is that a quarter? That doesn't make it. Why is there a clock then?
It's 2 halves, or so it would be halves. It would like start over.
Why would there be a clock? That doesn't make any sense.
The game definitely wasn't over.
Oh, are you sure?
100% guarantee it. Tony Romo said it. I texted a different
See, I did
group
not
chat.
listen to any of the commentary during the game because like we were playing cards, right? And so we just had it kind of low, so I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, so they were pretty late to say it because like me and my buddies that like I was like staying in touch with during the game, like we're like, what's going on here? Like, is this game gonna end if they run out of time? And no, it just would have. They just would have had one more quarter.
Why
So,
put the clock on it at all? What
Yeah,
are we
I
doing
guess,
with the clock? What's the purpose of the clock? Because actually, I read something today that it's a 15-minute, and I don't know if it says quarter, 15-minute period for overtime instead of the 10 because they extended it to 10. So why not just do 2 10s then?
Yeah,
So this doesn't
No.
make sense. The NFL's got to call banging on the drum, get us some answers. We want to talk to the commissioner. I'll accept
but-
Troy Vincent too, former Badger.
but anyways, that like wasn't the case. So like if that clock ran over, I guarantee you, if that clock ran out, they still had 15 more minutes or whatever was put on the clock.
So I don't think
to-
you should.
to finish.
I'm gonna say that right now. Don't think you should.
But that's not the case, Mike. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I think Andy
It's
Reid's a
like-
moron. The Packers should have hired him in '98.
So, anyways,
Sorry.
you're derailing this to
Yeah.
what you think it should be.
I know. Sorry.
But it was stupid of the 49ers to take the ball first.
I don't think it matters.
I think it 100% matters.
Does it matter in college
because
football?
In college football, yes. You want to play defense first.
So
Then
like
you know-
everybody in college football always plays defense first.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
But if you
that's-
if you score a touchdown, you put them at a ton of pressure. Like I get you get the extra down all the time then, but like, I mean, so the refs gifted was that in regulation that the refs gifted the Niners like a first down?
Yeah, yep.
That was regulation, or that was in
Yeah, like there was like
overtime?
a defensive holding. I don't know how
So
legit the thing was.
so if you want to give like pass interference, you better get that call right. It was not holding. Like illegal contact downfield, like pass interference, get the call right. Don't call it holding because that's not what it was.
Yeah, you're moving the goalposts on me, Mike. We
Sorry.
are talking about why it's so stupid.
I don't think it matters.
I think it 100% matters. It's going into something knowing what you need to do versus going into something and not knowing.
No. I disagree 100%. So the 49ers knew they had to score a touchdown, period. You have to.
Man.
Like, honestly, like.
But they didn't.
I know. That was stupid. You should have
Okay,
probably
yeah,
went on fourth down. What are you on? You're on like the 10
yeah.
or the 15? Like, you know you're playing Patrick Mahomes. You know he scored in what, like 12 seconds or something stupid with a field goal. He scored a field goal in 12 seconds.
And
That's
then what you do, you go for two then? Because you know they're going to go for two and they're going to get two.
So I don't know they're going to get anything. Like, so I assume that I'm the 49ers and that I can stop them, right? Like I assume that. But would you go for two in the Super Bowl?
No, because I would have.
No, if
played
you're the
defense
Chiefs-
first.
if you're the Chiefs-
and then I would have known what I needed to do.
No.
And
So
then,
then
then
Niners
if I was
score a
the
touchdown.
49ers, so this is what I'm.
Niners
saying.
score
Oh,
a
yeah.
touchdown. They kick the field goal. Are you going for two? Mm-hmm. Are you serious?
Every single time. Because yeah, then if the
If
49ers
you
comes out
lose
the-
going for two, you're fucked. You are like you might get fired.
Yeah, but then no, I don't think you would because then the game turns into sudden death, and you're taking the ball out of your guy's hands, your best player, the best player in the world's hands, and if the defense gives up a field goal, you lose. I think if you don't go for two, you might get fired. I mean, Andy Reid's not getting fucking fired,
No,
but
yeah, like Reed Shanahan might. Right? Like so, like you fuck that. I mean, to be fair, like
I hope not. He's
it's not that he's bad. It's that
He's
he has a he's very good at everything except for finishing the Super Bowl game.
Super Bowl, yeah. Yep.
I mean, so he has a
Yeah.
24-point lead against New England. He's the offensive coordinator. He's not the dude, right? But like, he's the offensive coordinator for that one. He loses to the Chiefs, which he probably didn't really have great chances the first time, and then this time he's got a 10-point lead. And he
Yeah.
loses. He'll
But
get
yeah.
one eventually. He's Andy Reid. He's the same dude.
Going back to my point though, I just thought
I get
it
what
was
you're saying,
Idiotic to not do it. And I do think if the 49ers scored a touchdown and kicked an extra point, I think the Chiefs go for two there to win the game.
So
just so
now,
because
like-
Moody's already hit 250-yarders in that game. So if you give up one big play
And missed an
you
extra
know,
point.
I guess, yeah. So yeah, I mean, but still,
That might have been a
take-
fumble though, on this snap.
No. It was straight up. He missed it. Like I think they re-showed it a couple times to like be like, yeah, no, the hold was good, the kick was good. Now that there's two missed field goals in that game though, I can't remember if it was Bucker or him where they were like, yeah, everything was good. It was just the kick was bad.
It was Moody that got it blocked because I remember thinking it looked like he bounced it off his own dude. His own dude got pushed back
Yeah.
pretty hard, and I was like, man, it looked like that hit a Niner.
No, I'm pretty sure Leo Chanel blocked it. So Badger Boy blocked it. That's what it was. So
So I actually think that the NFL's overtime rule is now stupider than it was when it was sudden death. Each team gets a possession thing. Like, if you're going to do that, you should run it just the same way college does.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Like, you don't have to give them 2 at the 25, but just, like, if you guys both score touchdowns, you should get a opportunity. Right? So, like, your point is good. Like, you almost have to go for 2 because it's a real good possibility that you lose the game if you...
So I think if the 49ers score that touchdown, you don't go for 2. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if
the Niners don't go for 2, but the
if
Chiefs
the team
have to go
you,
for 2.
Yeah.
And so, like, I get what you're saying there. Like, you have to go for 2 because the way the game is set up is, like, even if you got a bad pass interference, you're guaranteed in field goal range. You know, and so I think you're right on that. I don't think I quite realized it. Obviously, I didn't understand the rule. Didn't look into the rule too much.
No, I didn't. I didn't even know that the rules were what they were. I thought it was if the 49ers kicked the field goal, the Chiefs had a shot. I didn't realize if the 49ers. So basically, until after the game, I didn't realize how stupid it was.
Well, like,
for the 49ers to do what they did.
Me and the guy that invited me to this card party, like, we were like yelling, "What in the F is redoing?" Like, he's going to run out of time. Like, why is he letting this go? I had no idea that moved into another quarter. Had no clue.
Yeah. No, I don't think – I would say probably 80% of the people watching the game didn't realize what was going on.
I didn't have no fucking clues.
Yeah, no. And I was probably 3 beers deep from noon to that point in time. So I was sober. Like, I was 100% sober watching it, still confused. If I was like real drunk, I would have been like, "Oh yeah, that's why I didn't know." But like, I didn't realize.
I was essentially sober. I did have a Zin, which lit me up pretty good, but I don't mind those. Those are okay. But like, they always make my throat burn. I don't like that.
But yeah, if we just had to like recap the Super Bowl as a whole, and I already said it before, is to me. So I'll do me. I won't talk about you, and then or I won't talk for you. But yeah, very dominant performance from the 49ers in the first half, minus like a few mistakes. Definitely felt like they should have been up more than, what was it, like 10-3 going into halftime. It felt like it should have been at least 13-3, or I might be getting the score wrong. I should have probably pulled
No,
up the
I think
box
you're
score
right.
before I said-
It was pretty close to that. And I don't necessarily disagree, but the Chiefs had the ball at the 8 and fumbled, right? Like,
yeah, but both teams did that. So I guess you could just subtract that.
But if you're saying like, well, it felt like the Chiefs should have more points, or the Niners should have more points, it felt to me like the Chiefs should have more. And to be fair, like, I'm going to be 100% honest, I was hoping the Chiefs won. I did not want the Niners to win. I did not. I hate them, dislike them greatly. I don't think we made predictions on the.
We did on the last show, but I went with the 49ers on the first prediction, and then I went with the Chiefs on the second prediction. You definitely picked the Chiefs in both, and you were about to explain it for 10 minutes 2 different times in the same episode.
Yeah. But, now I remember. And so for me, it's just that I hate the Niners, basically, is what it comes down to. And so maybe I'm just being apologetic towards the Chiefs. But I thought the actual game was really good. I've realized that I've underestimated Super Bowl parties for the majority of my adult life. Like, I enjoy that quite a bit. And I shouldn't, though. We had a pretty good party, I think, for like a NFC championship game. No, it was the divisional round, right, against the Falcons.
Yeah, it was either the Falcons or Eagles won. We had a real good time.
Yeah. It was a blast in the Super Bowl run. So,
I think. Yeah, that could have went into my under department as well, though. So my wife and I were watching the game, and she talked me into staying home. I say she talked me into it. I'm not too opposed to staying home watching the game, and we were like, we'll get pizza. So that's how she like hooked me in, because we've been being pretty healthy, like I said, for the most part, especially her. She's been way healthier than me. And then she was like, so we go upstairs to our bedroom to watch the rest of the game. So we watch the first half downstairs, watch the second half upstairs. She falls asleep like in the fourth quarter.
Oh man, it's a rough one to fall asleep in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And she has no regrets about this. And she asked me, so she acts like a football fan. She is a football fan. She actually gets more than I would expect with like the little, like my mom's been watching football for like since I've been watching football, and my mom understands nothing, like whereas my wife understands quite a bit. I think the one thing that confuses her is punts, and I have the hardest time explaining to her, like, if he fair catches it, he's down right there, but if he doesn't catch it, like, the other people can stop it. And honestly, like if you haven't been growing up watching football your whole life, punts are pretty fucking confusing because it's like a controlled fumble, but you can't advance a fumble. Like it's just a special rule. Like it doesn't.
Wait, so you're saying
doesn't
the
make
kick
sense.
is a fumble from the offense?
It's what it is. Like if you had to explain to what a punt was to somebody that's never seen football before, it's the most confusing thing in football. Like at least like a field goal, you're like, if it goes through there, it's good. If it doesn't, it's not.
That's
good.
controlled fumble as well, apparently. Right?
But a controlled fumble that touched the ground that goes through the goalpost. Whereas a punt is a controlled fumble, but you can't advance it unless the other team touches it, and then you can get it. And then I don't even think you can advance it. Like I don't think you can advance a muffed punt. Maybe you can. I don't actually.
So,
I don't know that.
With you explaining this, now my brain thinks you should have
It's
to.
tough.
You should have to kick it off the ground. You should have to drop it to the ground. Otherwise, it is a pass.
No, so a punt though. So
No, I get what you're saying. I got what you're saying. But it's a pass. Any forward throw of the ball of any kind, even with your foot, would be a pass, would it not? If it doesn't touch the ground first.
So I would think, yeah, it's a special rule. Like that's
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't.
But like,
it doesn't make sense.
it should
in
have to be a
the frame
drop
of the
kick
game.
that you drop it off the ground and then you kick it.
So I don't know what it should have to be, but I'm just saying, like from other sports watching and stuff, like there's nothing like
I
that
gotcha.
in soccer. Like
Is there in rugby?
But-
Like where you turn the ball over intentionally?
I think so, but like it's all within the parameters of the game. Like I think people punt and shit in rugby, but if their guy catches a punt, they can keep running with it. So it is like kind of like a forward pass. But the ball in rugby is always alive.
But so like, even saying that it's a controlled fumble, like the defense can't catch it. Like the kicking team can't catch the ball and advance it, or not even and advance it. Like they can't even catch the ball.
But you can advance a fumble. So that's where it kind of makes sense. I mean, you can advance a backwards fumble because that would be like a pitch. But like, say if Christian McCaffrey gets lit up and the ball goes 10 yards forward and they recover it 10 yards forward, I think it goes back to like where he fumbled it from.
Okay.
But like on a punt though, if you down it at the one, you down it at the one. But you can punt on third down. I was going to say it because maybe it's the change of possession that would make that be the thing. But yeah, I just think it's a special rule. So I was like,
If you punted on third down, could your guy catch it? You line up like a punt, try to confuse the other team, and you're allowed because it's a fumble, even though the ball never touches the ground. Essentially,
yeah, it's weird. We could probably dig into punts sometime and figure out.
we need some rules experts here, NFL. Let's go.
Yeah, but anyways, where I was getting with this, the one thing I couldn't explain to my wife is a punt.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
Like it's one thing she'll never understand because I think it's like analytically, like if you didn't grow up, like that's just what it is.
Yeah, and I've never even considered
doesn't-
it in my whole
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah, it doesn't make that much sense. But anyways, she's a football watcher. I went downstairs to check if the doors were locked. I came upstairs. The dogs were out of the room. The door was shut. And she had her little sleeping noise machine on and the TV off. And this was like going into overtime. So I missed the first, I missed
'Cause you had
the
to load it
coin
back up
flip.
downstairs.
Yeah, because I had to go downstairs and then I had to do all that stuff. But whatever. We got off on a tangent on that story. But
Yeah,
but yeah,
very lost.
I was a little disappointed in her.
So I believe I was gone, right? So I believe my wife went to bed. So
Yeah. No, and I worked with a guy today that said he slept through the whole thing. And he was the guy that was like, where are we going for the game? Where are we going for the game? And I was even like asking my wife, I was like, hey, can we have like a couple people over for the game or something like that? She's like, no, let's just chill. And whatever. Like I said, I was like cool with it. But then she falls asleep, turns it off, makes me miss shit. And yeah, so I was a little disappointed. I explained to her this morning. She apologized. So it was all good. It was all good in the end. She realized what she did.
I don't know if I think it's that big a deal. Like, if I would have missed it, I don't think I would care that I missed it. Like, it's still a football game to me. I get that it crowns the champion of the world, right?
But it was overtime in the Super Bowl.
And I think it's
it
the
was
first one ever, right?
In the second. Kangaroo song. That's what it reminded me of. He was like, this is overtime in playoff hockey. But no, it was the second one. And I want to say the first one, I heard who it was. And I want to say it was like semi-recently, too.
Okay.
Oh no, it was the Falcons and Patriots.
Oh,
The
yeah,
time,
all right. I gotcha.
the 28-3 game.
All right.
So Shanahan's been in both of them. All right, Mike, where are we going? Where are we going now?
All right, so now we're gonna run in and we're gonna just mention who made the pro or who made the Hall of Fame. We are running out of time because we digressed a lot, just like the old days. All right, NFL Hall of Famers. Julius Peppers, former Packer. He should go in as a Packer just because that's the greatest team there is. Devin Hester, you should just go in without a team because your team is fucking dog shit. Dwight Freeney, Indianapolis Colt. Andre Johnson, Houston Texan. Patrick Willis. He is a 49er. Jesus. McMichael, former Packer, 1 year as a Packer. And I don't know who the last guy or the other guy is. I don't know who that is.
Gradisher. Yeah, McMichael and Gradisher I had no clue about.
McMichael's like an
But-
85 Bear. Like, so he's way back in the day.
Yeah.
He played 1 year
Anyway,
for the Packers. So,
the guys that I got to see do the eye test, which this makes me super happy. So like when the Hall of Fame stuff was coming out, I was like, besides the last two guys that we mentioned, all those guys I basically seen their whole career. And if anybody has a gripe with any of those guys getting in, I think they're dipshits. Like those are solidified.
so Devin
Hall of
Hester's the only
Famers.
one that I think that you can like even nitpick, and you nitpick him only because he didn't do anything except punt return or like return the ball. But like
Yeah.
that's still
But he was the best
he was
at
the
doing it.
dude. But he probably is the dude ever.
I still think my favorite returner of all time is Dante Hall. But
Who like could be right there with him. He's very close, but Hester's better. And like we hated Hester because he played for the Bears.
he was a bear.
Yeah, like so that's an issue.
But yeah, if you think about it though, like I forget about this. So yeah, the Bears went to the Super Bowl. The Bears made like NFC championships and stuff. I don't forget about that. Like don't get me wrong. But I'm always like, yeah, those defenses were so sick. Like they were putting up points. Like Mike Brown was return picks and shit like that. But it was Devin Hester too. Like that's the reason
their
they were
special
scoring
teams was
points
super
back.
good for a long time.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
and taking off like my bias goggles, Devin Hester, I love that guy. Like he was.
Yeah, that's a guy you want on your team,
absolutely
for sure.
Yeah, like electric. And then Julius Peppers. I know you're being, I don't know,
Facetious, I think,
would be the
maybe,
right.
like,
yeah, not the right word, but obviously he's a Carolina Panther. Great, and he was great for the Packers too.
He was
And
good
then-
for the Bears too. Like to pretend that he wasn't as silly.
Oh, I forget about that.
He went to the Bears before he came to the Packers. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And then Andre Johnson, all-time great receiver. Patrick Willis, maybe, he gets mentioned. He should be in the same breath with the Urlachers. And
Yeah. Do you think?
I
do you
think- I
so?
think it
Do you
might
think
be
he's
like-
in that same breath. Like he must be. Otherwise,
I do because
but he played for a lot of dog shit teams, right? So like the old Niners teams were bad.
But he was so fucking good.
Yeah, but
Like,
so he was probably there the same time. Shoot, who's the guy who broke his leg, the quarterback? Alex
Smith. Oh, okay.
Smith.
Gotcha.
He was probably there probably about the same time Alex Smith was, and they were bad through that whole time frame. Alex Smith
Yeah.
might have had like one good year.
Yeah, I mean, Niners are like a team that I feel like have always they've had their bad seasons, but they've always been able to compete. Like they've always got it back. I feel like they're pretty similar to the Packers in that.
See, I
like,
think that because they had like a good stretch there that they were not good after Garcia and all the way through Smith.
Yeah, but even with Smith, like they were pretty good at the end of
Okay.
Smith's tenure there because I remember it was like an odd conversation where it was like Smith's playing really good right now, and we're gonna bring in Kaepernick and do it. But that's not Patrick Willis. But Patrick Willis was the
Yeah.
best middle linebacker in the NFL for a while.
Yep.
And it was at a time where he wasn't playing with like Ray Lewis and Urlacher. But I definitely think
Does it surprise you that there's at least two Bears on this list? And like if you include Peppers, it's three. Does that surprise you? Like that three
No.
Bears getting in the same?
so. Like I
class.
said, I don't know who the fuck McMichael is, but Devin Hester is definitely one. Julius Peppers, I consider a Carolina Panther and a Packer.
Not a Bear.
So
He probably spent 3 years there.
yeah, no, I mean now that you say it, I'd have to like look at his numbers for that. I mean, because it was his Packers career was great, but it was like he was brought in to do the thing that he did, and it was just like rush the passer when we needed him to or whatever. But I guess maybe it surprises me, but not really because one of them special teams, one of them's defense, and I don't know what the other
I think
one
he's an
is, so.
offensive lineman, but he could be a defensive lineman too. He's one of the two, right? So.
Yeah. So if it was like a Bears offensive play, if it was 3 Bears offensive players, sure, I would be shocked. But that's not the
I
case.
gotcha. All right, let's jump in really quickly. Let's get into your Toby Keith top 5 songs of all
So
time.
this is my boy. I love Toby Keith. R.I.P. buddy. I know we're a little late to the party. I feel like he died the day after we recorded or something like that.
Yeah, it was in the last
But-
week. We're sure we missed it.
But yeah. Anyways, I always loved him. I think it didn't hurt that he performed at Fort McCoy and like we got to set up like the concert that he played at.
I don't
And
think I
then-
set his up.
I did. Yeah, I don't think you were out there that year. So that was like a year you weren't out there. I was out there. Whatever. I think I might have had a chance to meet him and I didn't do it just because I wanted to go get drunk before the concert. And I might have not been 21 yet. But anyways, we're going to go my Toby Keith 5 best songs, even though it's 6 songs on this list. And then, Mike, you have to rank them. So Pander pick number 1, American Soldier. That's number 6 on my list. And then number 5, I go Whiskey Girl. Then number 4, I go He Ain't Worth Missing. And then number 3, You Shouldn't Kiss Me Like That. Number 2, Toby Keith's all-time most underrated song, Dream Walking. And then number 1, I feel like is the obvious number 1 because it transcends. I feel like even if you don't like country, you like this song. Should Have Been a Cowboy is Toby Keith's number 1 song. So R.I.P. buddy.
All right, so there's 2 on this list that I got to drop to the bottom because I don't know them. Maybe, yeah. And maybe 3. So Dream Walking, He Ain't Worth Missing, and Whiskey Girl can drop to the bottom for me because I don't know them, which is what it is.
She's my little whiskey girl.
I mean, maybe it's there. Right? Like if I hear the whole song,
Yeah.
I am not a music guy by any means.
Dream Walking, you might not know.
Right, but
I
maybe I
like
need
that
to
one.
hear Dream Walking. Right, so I'll have to check that out at some point. All right, so Should Have Been a Cowboy. You Shouldn't Kiss Me Like That. And American Soldier. Those. So if I'm gonna rank those, I'm gonna go Should Have Been a Cowboy, American Soldier, You Shouldn't Kiss Me Like That. All classics though, all great.
Yeah. No, I mean he definitely.
Listen to them all if they come on the radio. Not gonna shut one of them off.
But yeah, if we had to throw it to sports though, I feel like Toby Keith played in a tough era because I feel like he was great, but
Yeah,
then,
and then-
I feel like he came on the scene when it was already George Strait's.
Yeah,
game,
and Garth
like,
comes on at
late
about
80s.
the same time, like in
Yeah.
the bigness, right? Like when he becomes big.
Yeah.
All right, so Toby Keith, you will be missed. Next up, we got
Legendary.
Pat's observational comedy of the day. That has nothing. We shouldn't go from sadness to comedy, but we're still learning on this job. So Pat's
Yeah.
observational comedy of the day.
Oh yeah, we probably could have cut this segment, but
No,
I
we're
was
gonna
trying
just go
to-
quick.
Oh no, I put the dude that. All right, so yeah, my observational comedy of the day. So I can't even think of like how a comedian would do it, but it was gonna be emails try to trick you by making you feel bad from unsubscribing from them, just like you're dumping somebody. I don't know. I had a better idea going into it. Now I got a little tipsy. But anyways, I was unsubscribing from so many different email services, and they would be like, "Why are you unsubscribing from me?" And then you'd have to like try to like let them down lightly. You'd be like, "This content just isn't relevant to me anymore," and like it was kind of like sad how you had to let them down, but.
So sometimes I'm like super grateful that I don't have a real breakup in my life, right? So like, I mean, there's nothing really like substantial for a breakup, and I've never done the breaking up, so that's always good. So,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I've
so-
been on both ends, and I've definitely liked it less when I was on the end of like, how am I gonna break this news?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. Like that, it's probably more like nerve wracking to like actually have to do it than to. So, yeah.
But yeah,
like
there-
it feels
there's something
shitty to
there.
have to tell someone the reason that you're doing it. Like, just know that I don't want to do this anymore. Like, and then they can just deal with it.
You kind of lie a little bit though, like there's probably like 5 big things where you're like, fuck this, or fart on that, fart on that, fart on that. Dang, we did go way back to the roots, but anyways, you gotta like let them down lightly. So that's what I felt like I was doing, all these things that I was unsubscribing from.
You were like trying to make them feel good while you're like, I hate you. Please stop sending me emails. See, but I don't know. So, and granted, like I mentioned, I don't have real breakups, and like my experience with like things on my end of life is like skewed because of this. I understand this, so let's preface that right out the jump. But like, I feel as an adult in my late 30s now that I would rather you just say like, I don't really like hanging out with you. Like, I don't want this the rest of my life, and I don't think we're gonna work the rest of my life, right? As like,
But
I think
think
if this
of
happens
telling-
at like 20, right? Like, there's way different elements there. Like, you feel like you should change. But in my late 30s, I don't feel like I should make big wholesale changes to my life in order to keep another human in it. And
Yeah,
honestly, at 20, you shouldn't either. Like, you should be the human you want to be. And if this other person doesn't fit into your life, like, they should move on, right? Or you should move on from them. But, like, we take that so personally that, like, two pieces don't fit together. Like, and I get that. Like, I'm not saying that I don't understand that, like, it hurts that this person that you enjoy doesn't actually work with your lifestyle. I get that. But I don't think it should matter.
Yeah, but I think it's like thinking like, okay, I found the one. This is how it's gonna be. Like, I'm gonna be with them. Like, we're gonna like banter and stuff, and then like being told like this ain't working. Like, I don't think it necessarily is always out of like left field. Like, I think most of the time it's you can see something. There's a disconnect somewhere.
Okay, do you think that generally it is like a consensual thought? Like, you both are thinking this, and one person just has to make the jump in order to get out?
I think so. I think, yeah, I would say that's like over half the time that it's going on.
Yeah,
but
so
then
like, I don't
there's-
think that should be like, there shouldn't be like super hard feelings there. And that someone else does fit into this person's life shouldn't be like that big of an issue either.
Yeah, I feel like that's a mature thought, but
Like I said, never dealt with it in a real way, so it like never affects me. But
yeah,
very
no,
minimal ways, right? For me, so.
Yeah, and I'm pretty far removed from having those experiences in my life. And yeah, I mean, like, sometimes it was like, fine, whatever. And then sometimes it was like, oh shit, I actually really like that person. Like, why did this go wrong? And like, you don't have to get those answers or whatever. And I think like being in your 30s now, like, you can like put the pieces together enough where you'd be like, okay, I understand why that happened.
So-
and then back then though, you like needed the answers. You're like, is there someone else? Is this like this?
But I think that there's like this big piece of like, if you're coming to break up with me, that I'm like, I can change. Right? I can change to like, I really like you. I can change to like meet what you need. And I don't think that person who, like, someone is, if you're telling them the truth, like, hey, like, you do this shit and I fucking hate it. I can't stand it. Like, I can't be around you. Right? I don't think that person should be like, unless they're like murdering people or like doing like really like sketchy, stupid shit. Like, they should be like, well, I can change. Like, you shouldn't have to fucking change. You should live the life that you want to fucking live. Let's say I got a gambling problem. Love gambling. I shouldn't say it's a problem. Like, I just spend my money gambling. And like, the person that I'm with is like, you lost $1,000. And I'm like, I made $80,000 this year. Like, me losing $1,000 over the year is not that big a deal, right? And like, that's the contention in our relationship. Like, I shouldn't be like, well, I should just change. You know, like, maybe we just don't work if that's the case.
Yeah, I think that's there. And like, if it's like that important to you, yes. But yeah, I think though, if it's something you don't enjoy about yourself, that like, say if
Yep.
it's like alcohol or something like that, like, you're like, oh, I can't stay with you, you're an alcoholic, and you're like, no, but I don't want to be an alcoholic. And then,
So that's fair. I
like,
get that piece of it. I'm just saying that, like, at some point, like, if like it doesn't mesh, like, and that's okay. That, like, especially pre-kids. Like, if you want to move on before pre-kids, it's like, who gives a fuck? But like I said, I don't have real world experience in this. I've lived a
Yeah.
very sheltered life.
There's a good saying for what it is, but I can't think of what the saying is. But let's move on to the Badgers, where Mike.
I have all
didn't
the
take any
information
notes.
on none of the games that I watch. So I don't know. I got caught in some, like, I got caught in my stuff, and I did not watch. I don't think either of these games. They had already lost the Michigan game when I came back from a high school basketball game, I believe. And so I decided I was not going to watch the recording that I put on. And then I did not watch the Badgers-Rutgers game either. But I'm going to be honest here. The Badgers, who were at the time the number 11 team in the country, need to get their shit together. We have lost, 4 in a row? So we lost
Yeah.
Nebraska, Purdue, Michigan, and Rutgers. Lost all these games. Need to get their shit together this week. Dial it in. We can take this little slide, come back, win the NCAA championship, and I'll be good to go with it. But I do apologize to our listeners. I don't have any real answers on what is going on with the Badgers. I will be tuning in the next game, which is probably Thursday, maybe Wednesday. And they're going to win. They're going to win. So we're good to go.
All right, I'm going to get some answers there. So they play Ohio State tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time. As for the Michigan game, I did watch that complete game, but my memory is turning into absolute dog shit. I remember the only thing I took away from that game, I was like, we need to see more of Sejan in this game. But he did play 10 minutes. He was 0 for 2 from 3, 0 for 3 from the floor. I don't got much for you. And then Rutgers, I know from watching the Rutgers game that they stayed out east. So they didn't go home after.
Oh, that's why they lost.
But you would think that's why they would win.
No, not at home.
Like
got bad
stuff.
back, sleeping in the hotel. Somebody got pink eye. Fucking room service lady was farting on pillows.
Probably. Yeah, that is actually probably what happened. But yeah, they just got their ass kicked front to back in that Rutgers game. But Mike is gonna, like he said, he's gonna be better.
I'm gonna be better. Lent is coming around, my whole life is gonna get fixed.
Yep. So he's going to be our Badgers guys. I'm going to be our Bucks guys. So since our last show, we've had a lot happen. First thing I'm going to start out with, the transaction news. Here we go. So Bucks trade campaign and a second round pick for Patrick Beverly to the 76ers, which seemed like an interesting team choice to me. But I guess if they got what you need, you got what they need, then whatever, pull the trigger. Kind of felt like 76ers are punting on the season at this point. But where we go for this is we're trading campaign, some scoring for Pat Beverly, some defense. And I will say I do enjoy this trade quite a bit. Not only because Pat Beverly is a good defensive point guard, but he's kind of a dog too. So he's kind of one of those team guys, good guys to have in the locker room. Stole this all from K9 Kyle explaining it to me. But I think it was a good trade getting Pat Beverly on the team and shoring up our second string point guard defense. So basically when Lillard takes a break, we got some guy that can lock down a point guard on the other side. So do enjoy that. So since our last episode, we played the Suns, the Timberwolves, and the Hornets. And then we did play the Nuggets tonight, but I do have to get back to that Nuggets game. But as for the Suns game, like I said, I'm holding up my end of the promise. I did get to watch this, but another subpar performance for the Bucks. No Dame Lillard in this one, and Middleton went out of the game early. Suns just kind of lit us up. So Durant went for 28, Beal went for 25, Booker went for 32. So there are three guys that you need to key in on and make sure one of them at least doesn't have a good game. All had good games. So Bucks defense sucked in that one. The Bucks did hang in there for a while, but end of the third quarter, this one started slipping away. Never really came back. As for the Bucks versus the Timberwolves, Bucks absolutely get their ass whooped by that, or by the Timberwolves. We didn't have Lillard or Middleton in this game. I don't know what was going on with Lillard. I think it might be personal stuff still, but Middleton was hurt from the game before. But yeah, in this one, I don't have much on it. They started getting their ass whooped in the third quarter, and it felt like they just punted on the game because Giannis only had, 27 minutes in that game, which I know Giannis plays 27 minutes a decent amount, but sometimes it's because we're up by too much and we take him out, and sometimes it's because we're down by a lot and we take him out. This one was definitely because we were down by more. As for Bucks versus Hornets, had Lillard back, had Pat Beverly back. This team was having a ball, whooping some ass. Hornets are not that great of a team, but this Bucks team that we assembled, this is what we expected them to do. Just absolutely whoop the ever living shit out of them. Everything went right for the Bucks. Pat Bev, first shot from 3 goes in. I think he might have been 2 for 2 from 3. And this game was so good, we even got to put Thanasis in, and he even made some crazy plays. But team was having a lot of fun. Pat Beverly looked like he was a good fit right there. And then we whooped the shit out of the Nuggets tonight, 112-95. So it looks like the Bucks are getting back on track here as the Badgers are falling off the rails.
Yeah,
that's all I got, Mike.
Yeah, so I do have the results of tonight's game if you're interested.
I already said it. Bucks won 112-95.
I thought you skipped over it. All right. Yeah, so Bucks whoop up on the former champs, and that's what we got for tonight. If you're enjoying what we got, this is a little bit longer. We're going to streamline this. Gonna do a little bit better on the streamline. Try to digress a little less. However, we appreciate it. We love you. Subscribe, download it on your wife's device, and Pat, take us home.
If you are doubting the Packers, the Brewers, the Badgers, or the Bucks, you can eat our shorts. Roll it.
All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. Beat 'em. All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. Eat my shorts.